Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the LMT M203 grenade launcher mod, which is being released by user Subleader 100. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a very modern version of the M203 grenade launcher, and I've been having so much fun with this thing, despite the fact that, yeah, it is a very modernized looking version of the M203, and you guys know me, I just don't personally like modern looking weapons in the game. It just feels weird. But grenade launcher definitely wins over my mild discomfort of modern aesthetic. So let's jump on over here and have a look at what we do get with the M203, which in its standard form will do a whopping 263 damage with a 40mm grenade round with a firing rate of 2, range of 11, accuracy of 77, and a weight of 7.2. And as you can see here, this thing is pretty darn good looking. Very nice on the modeling and texturing. Now, this is the sort of base model at 2K textures, but there is an alternate download you can get with 4K if you do so desire. But overall, very nicely made. I just wish it looked more like the ones from the 70s because, well, of course, this gun was originally released in '69. Good times there. Now, as for modifications, there's a pretty darn good list of things. One of them in particular is absolutely hilarious, and we'll talk about that more in a bit. It's just funny. But overall, some really good stuff in here, especially in the grenade category. There are so many different kinds of grenades you can shoot from this thing, from fairly typical to kinda weird and wacky, and all in all, just a good time. And you guys know me, always love lots of mod options, so yay. Now, as for how you do get your hands on one of these lovely things, it's quite simple. In the base download, you can find these things at various traders around the Commonwealth, or, of course, head on over to any chemistry station in the world, where you will find an M203 category, where you can build both the rifle itself, as well as the 40mm grenades. And not too bad on that. You're going to need Gun Nut rank 2 to create either of these, and the material cost isn't too bad. I'd say fairly reasonable, especially on the grenade launcher itself. But very nice that you do get the ability to actually build these grenades, because, well, you will find them in the world, but not unless you get an optional file. There is an optional file to add this thing into the level loot list, and you'll start seeing this weapon and its ammunition just randomly all over the Commonwealth, starting at level 30. But with the base download, again, just from vendors and the chemistry station. So let's jump on over to the weapon workbench here and look at all the cool stuff we do get, starting with the receiver category, where it's pretty typical stuff in here, from standard to calibrated on up to advanced, which will help out with the damage a little bit, but honestly, the main damage you're gonna be changing up on this thing is from the grenades themselves. We'll get to in a moment. Now, next on the sights, this category normally is my favorite category in every weapon mod, because it's sights, of course, you want good ones. But this is a grenade launcher that lobs grenades. So honestly, the only sight that really, to me, makes sense is the standard leaf sight. But if you so desire, yeah, you've got aim point sights, you've got Barska sights, EOTech, the Sig Romeo, the Trijicon. You've got all sorts of different options, which is pretty great. My personal favorite, though, and is the really, really weird mod for this thing, is, Leopold Mark IV, a 6x sniper scope, which I just love. Both the common here for when all sense has left you, and that it requires rank 3 in Idiot Savant. That is just the best. It effectively makes this thing, the sight at least, useless. You are only ever going to hip fire this thing, but it's just amusing to me that it's an option. And yeah, very fun there. Now then we have the grip category, a lot of good stuff there, where we have either the AAI, DD, HK Battle, and just so many other wonderful grips here that honestly are just all changing up the aesthetics of the gun. You can see over here on the side they are not changing any of the stats. But you know what, I quite like that you do have all of these various options in here, because yeah, you know what, you want to make your weapon look a bit more like you would prefer. Now then, in the stock category, we've got a lot of other good options here. You can actually go with just a pistol-style version with poor recoil by removing it, or go for SOP mod, the standard Galt, Tube, CTR, DD, and many, many others, as you can see. Now, unlike with the grips, these will actually change up more of the stats, especially accuracy, but also a lot of the look, too, which is great. So a lot of fun new options there. And hey, if you just want to go pistol, boom, remove it all together. Now, my favorite category, grenade. Oh my, it's the best. Now, the standard is the impact explosive, but you can actually hit timed diffuses of 3 or 5 seconds, high explosive incendiary, a shaped charge dealing all that freaking damage, a tear gas round, a sticky explosive round that'll stick to its target then detonate after 4 seconds of firing, a high-velocity impact explosive, makeshift frag explosive, signal flare, which is nice. It'll just illuminate the area and call in artillery, an anti-personnel buckshot if you just want to turn this thing into, effectively, a giant shotgun, a Merv cluster grenade, solid slug, also doing a ton of damage, rubber bullet, proximity mine, makeshift dirty bomb, electromagnetic pulse, target-seeking micro-javelin, and finally, armor-penetrating flechette rounds. This, just all the freaking options you got here is great. You can stick it with a more normal grenade launcher to turning it into a freaking solid slug gun, shotgun, etc. So many great ways to go about things here. And no matter which you go, it's all just going to be that 40mm grenade, so good times there. Now, then, finally, we have the material category, where you can choose either between a worn texture, the standard factory, woodland spray, digital, forest, Alaskan, marshland, and topographic. Again, all a little bit modern for my personal taste. I've liked the factory and worn the best, but still some good options there for you to change up to fit your aesthetic. Always nice. Now let's take a look at this thing in practice, and I think if I fired at the usual target range, I might break an arm. But let's try! And fire. Boom! Okay, I didn't get hurt because I actually missed the target. The iron sights on it are quite wonderful and very good for trying to figure out your angle as you would expect from, well, a leaf sight like this. And just all in all, good, smooth, solid reload. It looks magnificent. I mean, come on, who doesn't love that thud of a grenade launcher? And look at that round go. Beautiful. God, I love that thud. It's just a good time. Now, let's go take a look at some of the ones that I did make earlier. I've got this tactical one that I did create, and also, I did create the scoped one, though I do actually want to change the scope one. I forgot when I was working on this thing about things like the slug. Let's actually do that. I went with the sticky explosive, and that just doesn't seem nearly as fun and weird. So let's go with the anti-personnel buckshot on this one. That sounds far more reasonable for a scope. I love that it takes Idiot Savant. That is the best. And yeah, let's just fire these. Of course, the tactical one, I went with the highest damage that I could produce on this thing, which was a 740 using the shaped charge. And yeah, just a nice little thing there. Don't know how I feel about the scope on there compared to the leaf, but hey, whoops, I hit escape. Let's give it a go. And actually, I'm gonna fire it this way, just in case, because I actually haven't fired this one yet. Tiny explosion. Honestly, a little bit disappointing of an explosion, but it's a shaped charge. Kind of makes sense. It's meant to, you know, get all right on a point, and that's actually quite nice. I hadn't fired that one yet. That's amusing. Now let's take a look at the scoped. If you were going with any of the normal grenades, this would be the most useless scope ever, but shotgun. Holy crap, look at that spread. Oh my god. Okay, the scope, yeah, it does actually work out if you go for one of the round-based ones. Good times. Well, you know what that means. Let's get ourselves a Deathclaw and see how this thing is gonna fare. Die by anti-personnel shotgun round. Holy crap. It's like a third of his health. And boom. And finally... No, he's gone now. Okay, get out the other. I turned on my flashlight instead. Let's turn that back off. Hey, Deathclaw, I need to get you with a shape charge. Please come back. Missed him. Oh boy, there's a lot of drop off on that one. Oh, I missed him again. Fire. There we go. Okay, the shape charge one is a little bit harder to hit, but dear lord, the spread on that thing. I did just notice a weird thing with it though. When you're hip fire, very much spread, but when you did scope, it seemed to get it all on target, which actually makes it a little bit overpowered, but I kind of like that more, though definitely is, I don't think how that's designed. I think that is a little bit of a glitch there. Because yeah, look at that, all compacted into one shot. Thus why it took away like a third of that Deathclaw's health every time it hit. Fun times. Now, yeah, that's really all there is to talk about with this mod. It is just a fun, wonderful grenade launcher. I do always enjoy a stork-based weapon being added in. I just do wish, and honestly, this is my only complaint, and it's a purely personal matter, the modernness of it. I wish it looked like, I'll show an image on the screen of like one of the 70s style one of these. That is the only complaint I have, a personal aesthetic matter. Everything else about this thing is amazing. So if you'd like to check it out for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, have a link or a look at the link in the description of the video as usual. But that's gonna be it for this one, friends. Hopefully you have enjoyed and you come back for whatever is next. But until that time, thank you for watching. And as always, well, have a good one. Boy, look at that thing go. Wonderful. Boom. Later, folks.